Hello brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another base building video as well as the part 2 of our 2x1 bunker tutorial. In this video I will show you how I would continue the 2x1 bunker to ultimately a real chunky boy with heli tower, peak downs, outer TCs, you name it. Phase 1 of this base is super simple, but I won't go through it in this video. If you need help to do it yourself, make sure to check my part 1 of this series. As we do beginners tutorials, we will have some in this as well, even if it's mainly a base building video. I will explain how and why we do things like outer TCs and peak downs. Hope you guys enjoy. So, here we have our 2x1 starter, standing with such a brave face while knowing it only takes 4 rockets to foundation wipe it out of the existence. Better fix that before it's too late. We're gonna continue with the bunker same way we did in part 1, but at this point comes the first difference. Instead of building a wall on these spots, we instead make double door frames. For now, you can just make a jump up on the entrance or finish it straight out like we did in part 1. I will do it in this video too, for those who haven't seen the part 1, but later, as I would leave it like this for now. Most important thing for us to keep like it was is the honeycomb and the pancake layer. I will do them next before the part 2. After that, your base should look like this. Part 3 starts with expanding the jump ups so we can create access to the next floor as well as roof access eventually. Go from the doors on the side of the entrance and build it up like this. I tend to fill these spots with furnaces so they will work as my jump up as well as be out of my way. Repeat on the other side as well, making it look like this. Create this small space here for some extra boxes for all that crazy loot, as well as a little surprise for any unwanted visitors. I also do shelves here above the jump up, but if you're having any hard time doing the jump, you can skip these. Close up the second floor and make these little peak windows here for early base defense. I recommend using small boxes like this to make it easier to crouch while you shoot out the windows. If you don't know why, in Rust, crouching takes a lot of recoil away, so remember to do it every time it's possible. Close everything up, but don't forget this double door for our future access upwards. On the second floor, I recommend doing couple extra rooms. Here's some good examples on how you could fill them. Now we are at the point where I would finish the entrance. Good rule on these is that try to keep the rocket cost similar for any direction into your base. So more you upgrade it upwards, more you need to stuff between entrance and your core, or otherwise making only one of them strong is kinda pointless. Now we should have something like this on our hands. Then it's time to build up our shooting tower with peak downs. We are going to start with creating these 3 triangles big room here on jump up. I use this spot for a couple sleeping bags and lockers for fast access to the roof or windows when needed. It can make the difference can the door camper get away with the full kit he just grabbed from you or not. Then we build up 2 walls high corridor where we set up the ladders to help us get up. You should change these to couple triangle floor hatches as soon as you can. At the top, lay down 3 triangle floor pieces just like this. For you to expand the shooting floor for hoped size, you will need to add extra pillars, so to say, to support the floor and make it stable enough to you to keep building on it. Lay down double door frames as shown on the video. These are the best option as they are cheap and you can't soft side them. On 2 spots, you do need to add half wall frames to match up the pancake layer's half walls. I recommend putting them up here so it's more difficult to reach them. Also, it's highly recommended to upgrade anything that could possibly be soft-sided to at least metal. Not that it can't be soft-sided as well, but people tend to do that much less likely as it takes quite long. Now we can lay down the rest of the floor pieces and as so create the base blueprint for our shooting floor. Surround the floor with window frames and add some double door frames for doors and to help roof stability. So, what are these peaks for? Without context, it does look a little weird. To make these kind of peaks, you use square and triangle floor pieces so that between them is left small enough space so that even the triangle piece doesn't fit there. Then we put down single door frames like this. Remember to put it on the right side of the peak so that the door will open to the right direction. By adding doors and leaving them open, we block anyone from hopping in and we are left with these neat peaks to shoot those pesky raiders from. Don't get me wrong, intruder who is dedicated enough can be pushed or more like squeezed in with the help from another player. So never leave stuff in a shooting floor that you don't want to lose by any cost. All that is left now is to close up the shooting floor and upgrading your core to armored and bits and parts to metal. How I done it is that from any direction it's always the same cost to raid in, but if you don't want to worry about stuff like that, just upgrade more and more to metal whenever you can. You can also pump up more days worth of upkeep in one tool cupboard if it's all metal and not stone, as both stack to 1000, but you need less metal per building block than stone. As so, our base itself is pretty much finished and oh boy, it's looking sexy. We will call this an arrow. Considering where to put what or how to decorate your base, I recommend trying stuff yourself and as so learning what you like and need. I always try to give tips regarding that stuff, but it's important that these guides are more just to get started and create your own way of doing stuff based on them, rather than being the absolute option. I know it might be scary, but don't worry, I'm here and our journey is just beginning. Then all we got left is to figure out how we can make this look like this. We're gonna start building the compound by adding the outer TCs first. Well, what does that mean then? More stuff to build? Why? Okay, so outer TC's idea is to block other teams building TCs close to your base, which is called griefing. Idea in griefing is mostly to be a dick, but also to stop base owners expanding their base and as so often force them either raid your grief TC or move altogether. Other important point is that when correctly built, they will block raiders from placing their own TC after they destroy your core TC and as so stop them taking over your base. There is some cases when you're still able to build one at roof, but in most cases this might save your base even if you lose your loot. We will start by adding the side TCs first. You can even skip the northern and southern TC if you want. I just like to do them as I use them type of a gate entrance to the compound. Go on these spots of the base and start building triangle foundations so that you will eventually have one facing straight out the base like this. From there we do 8 square foundations outwards and finish with a triangle one. Then you can remove everything else except the last triangle foundations. Then go back to it and start building towards your base by adding these 4 half moons like this. Add a square and one more triangle. At this point it's going to look like this. Then we can remove the extra pieces like this and this is what we have left. As said, I use these as gates out from the compound, so I tend to finish it like this, but you can go crazy here. If you have some cool idea of your own, just do that. If done correctly, pieces will go to this triangle floor. Slap a window in front of it and you're good to go. Most important thing is not to forget these double frames. Having triangle foundations set up like this doesn't actually count them connected. So if you forget these frames, it will start decaying and isn't connected to the base. Also, as seen, these foundations could be soft-sided and as so detached from your base. Then we simply repeat it on the other side. Then it's time for the southern TC. As said, these are not necessary, but this one we do next is actually made with a different technique. And as so, I thought it's a neat way for me to show you guys how to do these as well. Reason why you need multiple different ways of doing this is that when the part of the base where you start these are different from the previous one, the previous technique doesn't actually work. So, two birds with one stone. We will start by adding triangle piece between these honeycombs, then one square, and from the side of that 17 triangles like this. Finish with square on the 17th. You can remove everything else but the last piece again. From here, we actually go back to the base the same way we did on the previous one, meaning 4 half moons. But in this case, we finish it with a square piece like this. You can always make sure you've done it correctly by checking this little cap. If there is one, you're good to go. After that, just finish it like we did before, only difference is that the TC goes to a little different spot. Just take it outwards from the base until it turns blue and you know that you are in the right triangle. I actually went little off script here and did this neat little entrance type of thing. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Yeah, I have a bad habit of doing this, but I'll try to focus on keeping these guys as simple as possible. Make this kind of little circle here and surround it with double door frames. Fill the entrance with doors and sides with metal subfronts. Little tip while we're doing this. The so-called normal window we tend to use can take 3 rockets, while these subfronts are actually 6 rockets strong. Keep that in mind when you're trying to decide what you want to use. On the main entrance, we can actually use similar technique as we did on the sides. Good rule when you're trying to figure out how to do this to your base is that you always want to be able to build straight line out from the base. You can try doing these 3 triangles as we did, and if the third part is facing straight out, it works. But like we did on the back, it only required us to put down 1 triangle and it was already facing straight out. After all this, your base should look like this. And as so, base building itself is pretty much done. What is left is to make the compound walls as well as put down some turrets, windmills to power them up, furnaces and oil refineries. But we are closing into a point where pretty much everything you do should be done how you want to do it. Only you know what you need or want inside your compound. It's kind of the same thing as with chest and other interior items. There is 0 point for me to tell you do it like this. As in Rust, you do you, boo. And that's the beauty of it. Regarding the compound walls, I wanted to do 2 layers on this base. First layer going from the outer TC entrances to one another, and the second layer from the actual TCs to one another. Regarding turrets, good rule is that they should stop anyone trying to steal your ore from furnaces, as well as stop any curious Georges jumping in your compound. But in a way that they can't be easily broken down from the outside of your walls. So don't put them too high in general. Windmills should be built higher than anything else in your yard. And as so, usually the best option is to make a tower with double door frames like this. Upgrading floor pieces under your windmill to metal is a decent idea, as some people really do have the time to soft side them down just to mess with you. Regarding high walls, they can be a little tricky to put down every now and then, but don't worry about it. You'll get better at it, and to be honest, even people with a long experience on the matter tend to make mistakes every now and then. On the outer level of the walls, put down some actual high wall gates. Remember to always fill these open spots like above your TC and inner gates with metal barricades, otherwise it's stupid easy to just jump in. With everything put down, my version of the base looks like this. I hope this helped any one of you looking for either a strong 2x1 build or guides about base building. I tend to teach Rust a lot, and if you happen to have any questions or you would love to see a tutorial about a certain thing, don't be afraid to comment down below the video or come see me live at twitch.tv/pastorihelman. You can also join our Discord community full of small content creators and Rust players. We are always looking for more brothers and sisters to play with. Links can be found in the description. Next time, we will be talking about how to actually get started in the cruel world of Rust. Till then, best of luck in your journeys. Trust me, it's worth it. I will bless all of your journeys. May the Rust gods be more kind to some of you than it has been to others. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys next time. Pastor out.
Yeah, I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no-go. Senoritas going loco. Make it bounce like a pogo. All my haters see rojo. They big mad cause they coming up short like Frodo. Activate the beast mode. I keep it hot, give your brain a heat stroke. You ain't a big